Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am not gonna lie, I had not planned this. As a matter of fact, I had decided that I was not going to continue doing YouTube specifically because I just didn't feel very inspired. But one of my clients sent me something and I feel super inspired to just talk about it and get it out there. So as we all know, in the accounting world and as things happen, there are many different softwares and features and things that pop up that just, they're different and they're trying to create something that is different. So what I will mention is that I'm of the mindset where you should always try something, even if it's new. You should just try it, give it some sort of feel, something that you can really get into. Now I want to mention as well, the reason I didn't do YouTube is because I just don't like scripting things. I'm a very person who likes to just fly off the seat of their pants, if that makes sense. And when I'm inspired. So with this, I'm realizing my camera's kind of out of focus. There we go. With this, I just really wanted to talk about it. So we're going to dive right in and kind of go and take a peek at it. So this software is called... There I am. This software is called Kik. And this was sent to me by one of my clients. I will not name her just for the sake of this. But it was sent to me by one of my clients. And Kik is a new accounting software that is integrating AI. And they're trying to make it look very much like QuickBooks. So they have some really neat features and things like that. But what I'm already noticing is that it's very similar to other products that have tried to do something similar like this, which is Wave. So I want to give my raw, pretty much unfiltered feelings and just talk about it. I just want to talk about it. I want to really get it out there, and that's what we're going to do. So if we dive in here, once you get into Kik, you can see that there are different things. Now, as part of the thing that I like is, as an accountant, you can have all your entities here. It's very cool. That you can have all of that. Now, when I first got in here and asked me to do a bunch of stuff, like handle this, one of the things that I do like about this is right here, you can see that they have, first of all, this is Butter. This is a software. And it's not a meal, but that's AI. You kind of have to train it. So this is telling me essentially that, okay, I need to discuss who this was with and why it's actually business. So in essence, if none of these things fit this purpose, it can't be like a meal. So that was one of the things I liked, as well as the savings and things like that. This also has a cash flow planner, which is great. I think that cash flow is very important, especially for small businesses, because we are bootstrapping our businesses most of the time. So having this be here is something that is really cool. So obviously this is that transactions are still being reviewed, but you can see what your income is and everything like that. I want to let you know that this is my business. So there is some stuff in here that I'm okay with sharing it, because a lot of it is kind of unseen. But so when you get in here and you look at your transactions, here you can categorize your transactions, saying something that's something. So if it's Fathom here, it's software and subscriptions. They already have a bunch of stuff. And it kind of shows you what savings you're going to get out of it. So like what your tax savings are based on this, which is really neat. You can upload your receipt. You can add a note. And then it gives you your transaction details as well as the history. You can split it. You can hide it. You can match it if you've already added a transaction. Now, one of the things that I don't like and I want to mention is this right here. It's this screen in and of itself. So one of the things I like about QuickBooks, and maybe this is something they'll work on, but one of the things I like about QuickBooks is that when you categorize something, it disappears from your screen. So this just continuously keeps generating your bank information. So you're just continuously going to have transactions showing up here. So what I don't like about that is that now we just have a list of transactions and you're not quite sure if, they've been categorized or what. So obviously, this says action up here, but if the AI has already categorized it, how are you supposed to know what you need to categorize? Now, I want to make something clear. As a bookkeeper, I am well aware that the categorization of things and things like that is not where my job is at. For me, my job is at more than the categorizing. We want to dive into the numbers. We want to look at the reports. We want to understand things. So to me, this screen for people who are not bookkeepers and who are not, like, to me, this would just be confusing to someone coming in here, because now they're going to have to say, okay, well, did I categorize that? Is that the correct category? Because you don't know, right? Like, you're not going to know automatically, oh yeah, this is the correct category. I suppose you could go through your list and say, oh, hey, this is new. I would be curious to see what it looks like with newly generated transactions, but this is just, like I said, raw and unfiltered perspective. So then obviously you have your accounts here. You can see what your cash balance is based on, your bank accounts and everything like that. So that's quite interesting. And then for documents here, you can upload like statements, you can upload receipts. So it's kind of taking everything away from going outside of an accounting software and keeping it in accounting software, which is really nice. But there's a lot of things that I also don't like about it. So, for example, the general ledger is something that you have to pay for, I believe. You can edit your chart of accounts. There's a lot. This is very new, so there's a lot that's still not quite ready yet. But if we look at this here, you can see, your profit and loss statement, which is very similar to QuickBooks. You can create a journal entry. So what I will mention is, as of right now, this is very basic. It's nothing that I think is something you should jump on, if that makes sense. I'm trying to see where I can find got your receipts, integrations, security. Okay, so here's the plans. So I wanted to just go over these. So for example, $0 a month for the free plan, which is up to $25K in expenses, which most people would be fine on. But the problem with this is that if you go with this, the only thing that you have is your profit and loss. Now you do get the auto categorization, the receipt matching, but you only get your profit and loss. Now I want to mention that Wave can do something similar. So this isn't anything new. You also get unlimited entities and then deduction optimization. So when we look here, we can see, we get unlimited entities, unlimited members, auto categorization, expert review, and then receipt matching. But then you don't get custom categories. So you can't create any custom categories, any custom chart of account categories, unless you're in Plus, which really sucks, because part of the thing that I like about QuickBooks and me as a bookkeeper running my business is helping my clients to deduce what each of those categories is. So if someone has a legal and professional and they're like, Samantha, I really want to know what my accounting fees are, what my web designer fees are, what this fees are, we kind of break that down in QuickBooks and we put that under everything so that we can see the difference between those instead of just saying legal and accounting. So you get the profit and loss with every account, but then here again, you only get the balance sheet if you're on the $125 a month. You only get the general ledger if you're on $125 a month. All this stuff here. So this is a very, honestly, looking at this, it doesn't seem very beginner friendly. So yes, could you use this to track your expenses? Absolutely. It has the cash flow insights, everything like that. But the main issue I see is two things. One, if you upload your transactions and you just go through here and you trust the AI, you're going to miss stuff. You're going to miss categorizing things correctly, and it's going to cause issues when you pass your books off to your taxes. Second of all, there's no general ledger, so you can't verify your work. I know a lot of people are like, well, why do I need to verify my work? Because part of the thing of being a bookkeeper, and for me, especially with all of this, is we triple check and we quality check. Because we want your numbers to be as accurate and as clean as possible. This kind of prevents that because we don't have a general ledger. While this is your general ledger, you can't see stuff that's just in software and subscriptions, if you know what I mean. I suppose you could categorize this way and kind of go that way. But at the same point, I don't like that these are just all sitting here. There should be some sort of thing where it's like, yes, you can categorize this. You should confirm it that it's actually that category, kind of similar to QuickBooks, where you're like, yes, this is the correct category. You give it a check mark, it goes away. This screen right here is very similar to Wave with me, and I've seen so much get messed up within Wave. Now, Another thing that I see is you're only looking at your profit and loss. You're not looking at your balance sheet. Your balance sheet is very important. It helps you understand what's going on in your business from an equity perspective. Like, what stake do you even have in your business, especially if you have assets, if you have loans. So if you have assets or loans, you're now at the point where you're paying $125 a month. And so I will mention that I think this is really cool. I think it's very innovative. It's an interesting software. I am going to get on and see the accounting demo. Would I move my clients here? Absolutely not. Because just from the transaction point of view, like I mentioned, there's just not a whole lot that I enjoy about this screen or like looking at. And I feel like this is something that could really just be in general scary. So, yeah, I mean, that's my raw, unfiltered perspective with this new accounting software that people are getting pretty up about. This could work for something basic. I want to mention that. If you're someone who has like 5 transactions a month, you're just getting started, this could really be amazing for you. It's a free accounting software. You connect your bank account, you've got your cash flow, you've got your profit and loss. If you are looking to scale, this is not the software you're going to use right now. You don't want to be paying $125 a month. And with QuickBooks, you can scale even at their, $30 a month plan. Even with Xero, you can do that with their smaller plans. The problem here is that this is limiting. When you, like I said, when you look at your plans, you can see that how limiting this is. When you see, free, you only have up to 125 or 25K. And then even for the plus, you only have up to 250K. So, and then here you can't even change categories. So again, that's something that really bothers me. I suppose you can because we're on the plus with the custom categories. But again, you can only get custom categories if you're plus. So you can't even change the category names. That bothers me in and of itself, like I said, because I don't want to just, like if it were me and a lot of my clients, we don't want just advertising and marketing. We want advertising, marketing, web design. We want advertising and marketing, ads, or if they're paying for paper ads, something like that, or if they're paying for networking fees. We want to see what they're spending on networking. And that's the thing. When I'm working with my clients, we're not just looking at these base categories. We're looking at customizing it to match them. We want them to be able to understand their books on a different level than just saying, oh yeah, you spent $600 on advertising and marketing. But what is that further? What is in advertising and marketing that you spent money on? You spent $500 on ads. You spent, $300 on networking. You spent $600 on getting a sign for your building. I don't know, something like that. Just getting into the nitty gritty of that, because that's what helps you understand your numbers and that's what helps you grow. Not just looking at a category and saying, hey, this is advertising and marketing. So again, I think this is a really cool software. I think it's really great. It's got a lot of work that needs to be done. Would I buy it at this point in time? Absolutely not. But I encourage you to try it. I do. I want you to see what it looks like. If it's interesting to you, you can invite your accountant to come in and categorize things for you. I personally would not take on clients if they were using it specifically because of this field, because there's so much we could miss. There's no general ledger. It doesn't connect with a lot of my software. I use a software called Keeper for my practice management. So again, I would encourage you to try it. I think it's a great, stepping stone for accounting. I do not think it's a replacement at this point in time for QuickBooks or something like Xero. It could be a replacement for something like Wave, since Wave did away with their bank connectivity, but definitely not a replacement for QuickBooks or Xero. Thanks so much for watching.